Hi everyone, I've come out to look at my roses today. I noticed this one the other day had bloomed out so pretty. It's one of my favorite roses. It's a yellow one. A friend of mine had sent it to me several years ago, and it was just so little in just a little pot back then, but it has grown so much. I need to weed out here. I've got to get out here in the next few days and start weeding. But this is the prettiest yellow rose, and it smells so good. So I wanted to bring you out here with me today and show you. I got two of them that's bloomed out so pretty, but you can see I've got some other buds that's coming out. Can you see those buds, how pretty they are? I can't wait till they all bloom out. I got some more buds down here. So when they all bloom out, I'll bring you back out here and let you see them. But I love roses. I used to have so many, but through the years, the domestic ones, it's hard to keep those. They seem to die out so much. But I have some wild roses that come back year after year. That some of them were my mother's, and after she passed on, I brought them here, and they come out year after year, and they're so pretty. I'm going to take you back there in the back where I have them and show them to you. One of the bushes has come out so pretty, and the other one, the storm come through the other night, and it seemed like all the petals have fallen off of it. And I'm going to pause it until I get back there, and I'll show you. Okay, now this one is up on the hill behind us a little bit. This one is so pretty. It comes out year after year after year, and it has like bright kind of fuchsia, almost red blooms. This one belonged to my mother. She had it for years and years, and every year I always take photos after photos of it, and it is just so pretty. It's a wild rose. It's kind of on the hill back behind our house. If you can hear that noise in the background, that is cicadas. That's what I was telling you about yesterday. Those cicadas are so loud. They have come to Virginia, especially my area. Listen at them. Can you hear those cicadas? They'll drive you crazy outside. I don't know if you have them in your area, but they said about every 13 to 17 years. That's the one that's, comes about every 17 years. And they're here now. And when you step outside, you can hear them so loud. Especially up there on the hillside. When you walk up there, they're up there in the mountains and in the woods. And they're flying everywhere up there. But that's one of the wild roses that I really love. I'm going to go around to another section behind the yard. Okay, I'm in the backyard into another section. This is another one that I really love that belonged to my mother. This one, it's probably another one of my favorites. It's like a pink fuchsia too. I'm going to get a little closer so you can see it. Look how beautiful that is. Those rose petals are just so fragile. Look on the ground. A storm came through and blew those petals, but they're so fragile anyway. Just at least a little storm or rain will make them come on the ground. But sometimes I'll come out here and pick them up, and I'll put them out and let them dry, and I'll make potpourri out of them. And I think I did this for my niece's wedding several years ago. I came out and picked them up, and I dried them, and I made potpourri sachets for her wedding out of lace. I actually took some old lace curtains that belonged to my mother too, and I made little potpourri sachets out of her old lace curtains and these dried petals, and I tied them up with ribbons. And for her wedding, I put them out on tables, on the tables, and they were so pretty. They were just like kind of like a memory of my mother for her grandmother, for her wedding, and it was really nice. But look at these roses. They're just wild roses, and I think I'm not sure where she got these. My mother used to like to go out into the woods or the mountains, and she would find wild roses and bring them back. And this might be where she found these, in the woods somewhere. And she would bring them back and plant them in her yard. So this was probably where these came from. She loved to just go out into the mountains and find wildflowers and woods. And a funny story, though, she would ride with my dad, and they would find old abandoned houses and things, and they would see flowers in the yard, and they would just go and, dig up those flowers, and they would bring them back and plant them in our yard. And sometimes those old abandoned houses would actually not be abandoned. They think they would be, and my dad would tell her, somebody's living there, and she would dig those flowers up and run. We laughed about that for years, about that. He would say, that house wasn't abandoned, but she got those flowers anyway. Because, back years and years ago, sometimes houses look like nobody lived in them, but they did. So sometimes we never knew if those flowers that she dug up actually come from an old abandoned house or not. So we laughed about that for years, We'd say, did you get those flowers from a house that actually was abandoned or not? And she said, well, they looked abandoned. So that's funny. Because we grew up country, lived out way in the country and everything. So that's a funny story. But these are so pretty. I'm getting some close-ups for you. So these are some flowers. Here's another one. This was another one, too, that come from her. This is bright red. This one, for some reason, has never done as well as the other ones. Seems like the petals fall off before they ever really get, completely full. But it's still a beautiful one whenever it does well. See how pretty that is? It's actually a beautiful one. But it seems like before it actually gets really full, the petals start falling off, but it's still beautiful. I'll stand back and let you see. Let me walk over here. Here's some more wild irises. Over here I'm kind of getting tangled up in this rose bush. But over here is some more flowers. These are wild irises over here. I should have come out here and filmed these when they was full before the petals started falling off of them. But I love the wildflowers, probably more, than the domestic ones. But like I said, the storms came through the other night and the petals fell off. Those storms were really bad that ripped through St. Louis, Missouri, and London, Kentucky. I really feel for those people, and I'm praying for them. And if any of y'all out there were affected by those storms, I have you in my prayers and thoughts. In my part of Virginia, we had some really bad storms to come through here as well. We don't live far from London, Kentucky. Really, those storms that were passing through, and those tornadoes, I sat up until about 4 o'clock in the morning watching the updates and the weather, and we actually had some tornado activity here that came off of those. And excuse me, my throat is very scratchy this morning. But those storms that ripped through London, Kentucky into Leslie County, Kentucky, we don't live very far from Leslie County. They came through my part of Virginia, and we actually had tornado warnings here. And, our local meteorologist came on, and only a couple miles from my house, said that there were tornado activity and was telling us to seek shelter, that tornado activity had been reported, and tornado cells and rotations had been reported in my area, and it was very scary. My sister only lives probably 20 minutes away, and the tornado activity was in her area, and I was setting up and messaging her back and forward because it was in her area, just 20 minutes away, and they were telling her area to seek shelter. So I was trying to make sure she was all right, and here at my home, we were getting blasted with the thunderstorms. The winds were awful, but we know we wasn't getting the tornadoes hitting the grounds like they were in London, Kentucky, and Leslie County. So, but it was bad enough. People in my area lost power, and we had a lot of trees down and things. But we were fortunate that that I know of, no lives were lost. A lot of homes weren't damaged. We had a lot of roads closed, and because of power outages due to trees down and everything. But my heart goes out to all the people in London, Kentucky, St. Louis, Missouri, and other areas that really were hit really hard. So anyway, I just wanted to show you all of my flowers and everything. So like I said, I'm simply Debbie Sue. I may have a lot of just simple country videos. I may ramble a lot because I'm just a simple country gal. If you'd like to follow along with me with my journeys, just hit the subscribe button. Comment, if you want to. I'll chat with you, and I hope you have a nice day.